Hey guys, it's me, Kimberly Clark, and welcome to my All About Highlighters video. It's 4:47 in the morning. So I just got back from a gig, and my makeup might look a little bit familiar. It might look a little bit deteriorated, because it's the same makeup that I was wearing when I filmed my anti-haul video where I talked about all of the highlighters that I was not going to buy. So as promised, I am making this video to prove to you that I do indeed love highlighters. So I was recently tagged by DD Tennessee. She's one of my subscribers and she has a YouTube channel. I'll link her video down below. She tagged me in the highlighter tag. And I was like, oh my god, yes, I'll totally do it. I love it. I did the blush tag, the blush key. You know, so I was like, oh yeah, I'll do it. But then I was reading the questions and I was like, ooh, shit, I don't have enough highlighters. Like, I had enough blushes to do the blush tag, but the highlighter one, as I was reading it, I was like, I guess I could like do this, but I feel like it might be more valuable for me to do one of these all about videos instead. So that is what you are getting today. If you watched my anti-haul video, you kind of got some of my general thoughts about highlighters. The little kind of TLDR is I think highlighters are amazing. I love them. They're beautiful. I too was swayed and am obsessed with the whole highlight unicorn sparkle face glow trend. I love it. I'm a drag queen. As you can see, my face is unicorn sparkly and glowing. I came home, took off my jumpsuit, put on more highlight. That's basically what happened. That's how this face, it's the difference between that face and this face is that. You know, I love it, but the thing is that I really feel like unlike kind of product like a lipstick or a blush where or an eyeshadow where the shades can be so diverse and work for the same skin tone, you know, like you can do a warm eye one day, you can do a cool eye one day. Blushes, you could do like a corally blush one day, you could do, you know, same with lips, like everything. You could mix it up a little bit. Highlight's a little trickier, and I know that there's a very popular trend of like different color toned highlights like blue, pink, green, all that kind of stuff. And the purpose is to kind of give you another kind of aspect of your makeup to color coordinate with the rest of your look. I support that. I think that's great. However, I gotta say that like of all the highlights that I've used, all the different tones, everything, when I use them, they really all end up just looking the same. And I end up just kind of gravitating towards highlights that complement me and my skin tone, no matter what other makeup I'm wearing on my face. Highlight is really like it's a structuring thing. It's like contour. Like when you find the shade that works for you to give your face the appearance, the illusion of a different facial structure, then you stick with it. That's kind of my thoughts about the like kind of inundation of highlighting products in the market today. And if you want to hear more about my thoughts specifically about highlights that I'm not purchasing, then check out my 4th anti-haul video. As with all these all about series, basically what I do is give you some tips and tricks about whatever topic that I've learned over the years. Then I list my top 5 favorite products. So first, let's talk about the tips and tricks of highlighting that I have learned. First, I'm just going to refer you to this other video, the gradient highlight. This is a technique that I heard about from a Sephora cast member once and tried it out and kind of worked on and perfected, and I love this. It's just a way to give you a little bit more dimension with your highlight, and it's particularly useful when you are strobing using exclusively highlight. I'm not going to talk anymore about that. I have a whole video devoted to that. Please check that out if you are interested in learning more about the gradient highlight. Another little tip that I found that kind of helps not only make your highlight look more natural, but also kind of like merge your contour and blush and highlight is to put your highlight on before you put your blush on. You know, the trend of makeup and drag, it comes from drag, I guess, but it's kind of now in all kind of popular makeup vernacular, whatever, is to do the kind of Neapolitan ice cream thing. You do your contour, you do your blush, you have your highlight. It looks like Neapolitan ice cream, like chocolate, strawberry, vanilla type deal. When you put your highlight underneath your blush, it kind of lets your blush do the job of like merging all of that together. If you're going for a more natural look, you don't want the full-on Neapolitan ice cream stripe situation. And sometimes, depending on the highlight that you're using, if you put your highlight on top of your blush, it will really kind of like cut a harsher line in your blush and like won't give that kind of beautiful kind of ombre blend effect. Anyway, that's something that I've been doing for a while and I find it's really effective even if you're going for a really dramatic look. It's just nice to have the blush be the last thing that you put on. I really find that it kind of makes the cheeks blend a little bit better. Anyway, that's just my opinion. Let me talk about where I highlight. So for the last couple months, I have been doing this thing where I really use highlight on the tops of my cheekbones, the bridge of my nose, tip of my nose, the center of my forehead, and that's really it. I, of course, create like highlight and contour structure with all my cream products and other powders, but when we're talking highlighting, like the way that people mean highlighting, which is like final, topper, crazy sparkle shimmer step, that type of highlight, the shimmery highlight, I only do those spots. I used to put stuff on my chin. The reason that I stopped doing that was because I really feel like for me to try to get that lifted face structure, the more stuff I put anywhere else just really expanded my face and made it look bigger. And I really want to pinch and feminize it as much as possible. So I find that like just doing this tippy forward thing here also minimizes my jawline too, just by kind of like avoiding highlighting down here. Bing, bing, bing. Let me talk about some brushes that I love to use for highlighting. Now, these are all dirty because I used them today, so if that freaks you out, just trigger warning, watch out. This is the Morphe M509. I've talked about this brush before. This is just a really lovely, beautiful, big, fluffy blender brush. Pretty sure this is synthetic bristles, but it is like this very wispy, but very fluffy, kind of perfectly tapered blush. This is great for highlighting. I find like it's like that kind of beautiful like hold at the end, get a very delicate look with. I can do my gradient highlight with this. I can put one end of my brush in one color and then flip it over and use the other side of it for another color. So I use that today for gradient highlighting and I love it. Another brush that I really love is another Morphe brush. This is the Morphe fan brush. This is the one that came with that vegan brush set that I've talked about a bunch of times that I happen to get off of Haute Look. This is just a ginormous fan brush. I really love this because you could really diffuse product. I also can use this for gradient highlighting. I put one shade on one end and one shade on the other end, and you just kind of like go back and forth between them and kind of get that perfect ombre that you might want. I find that this particular fan brush is a little too thick for me to do my bridge of the nose highlighting. If you are not doing so much of a dramatic nose contour, this might be fine to kind of just dust on the tip of the nose, not worry about it. I really try to keep my nose highlight center much more narrow than my full nose, although probably right now it just looks like my whole face is shiny, but you know, been out for a while. Love this fan brush. And then this is another brush that I have used for highlighting for a very long time. This is my e.l.f. blush brush. It is a tapered brush that is like kind of narrower than it is wide. And it is just this kind of beautiful tapered paddle. I love to use matte highlight with this brush, and it's just really, really great for packing on either loose powder or pressed powder, but like in a matte highlight. I just love this because like matte highlights you can actually pack on and you don't have to worry about it looking too crazy. Like a bright sparkly highlight, you don't want to like really just like pack it on. You kind of want to do a wispy brush, but with this it's perfect for kind of packing on a matte highlight and then also kind of like buffing and blending it out slightly because it is fluffy. It's not crazy dense. Anyway, those are the brushes that I love to use for highlighting. Now, since we've talked about some tips and tricks, let us talk about my top 5 highlighters. Okay, so first is going to be an honorable mention. Of course, I can't not do that. This is MAC Emphasize. Here it is in my Pro palette, my MAC Pro palette. I've talked about this powder so many times. This is a really great standard, great workhorse of a matte white powder. I find that it is kind of hard to find a powder that is this kind of light and creamy that is light enough for my skin tone, and this one definitely is that. Now, as I've said in other videos, I haven't been using this so much because I've been using another powder, but it's always nice to know that MAC Emphasize is there for me. I love this. I think it's great for setting under your eyes. I think it's great for doing a kind of like baking situation. It's just so beautiful, so reflective, but is still matte and just really, really nice. I love it. I love it. I'm always gonna have a place in my heart for MAC Emphasize, no question. Okay, so my number 5 favorite highlighter is this Kat Von D Metal Crush eyeshadow in the shade Thunderstruck. I talked about this before. The first time I heard about this as a highlighter was from Samantha from Battle Ash Beauty. This is a like fabulously pigmented, like kind of foiled metallic eyeshadow. This is just in a beautiful kind of like white with a gold cast. Just absolutely stunning, and it really is, just look at that, just like stunning, beautifully pigmented, fabulous, opaque, gorgeous, with, look at this like beautiful kind of like rosy gold duochromy shift. I don't know if you can see that. It just really is this perfect, very dramatic highlight that is not super sparkly. This is a metallic shadow. So if you want a highlight that is not going to be super glittery, but packs a very luminous, reflective punch, this is a great highlight to use. Now, this is an eyeshadow. It's not marketed as a highlighter. And so this is just a great example of how you can repurpose makeup for whatever you want it to be. Eyeshadows and highlighters are generally the same formula, same ingredients, so you might as well use whatever works for you. Okay, my 4th favorite highlight is the Wet n Wild Fairtrade Coffee Color Icon Blush and Glow Trio, the highlight shade from this. This was a limited edition palette, had a blush, a bronzer, and this fabulous pinky peach toned highlight. It is just gorgeous and stunning and a little more, you know, like basic than the Kat Von D. It doesn't really have as much of a crazy luminous duochrome shift. It's a little more just like basic pinky shimmery, and this is a beautiful kind of pinky peach toned highlight. I love this. Like I've said in many videos, if Wet n Wild would manufacture this on its own, I would absolutely buy it. It's a fabulous, fabulous soft buttery formula. I love it, and I am wearing that kind of as like an extra topper today on my cheeks. I just put it on. Gorgeous. I love this. This is the Wet n Wild Blush and Glow Trio in the shade Fairtrade Coffee. It's fabulous. It's fabulous. Just Wet n Wild make this individually. It's just great. It's just fabulous. Ugh. Okay, my 3rd favorite highlight is actually, I had to include this because it is not a surprise. I freaking love this whole palette, this brand. Lunatic Cosmetic Labs Contour Palette. If you haven't heard me talk about this, you haven't watched enough of my videos because I talk about this in almost every video that I do. Fabulous contour palette, amazing cool tones, blushes, everything you need, bronzers, whatever. Highlights. So in this, you kind of have 3-ish highlight shades. You have this white shade, this very pale pink blush, and this vanilla shade. The white shade and the vanilla shade are like absolutely perfect. The formula of these powders is so smooth and lovely. These 2 shades in combination I find are really, really great for doing a gradient highlight. Of course, they're not going to show up at all. They are not super opaque. They're very soft and they're very easy to blend. These highlights, even though they are super light, can be used on any skin tone because when you layer it on top of your skin and you blend it out, it will not look like this color. It will actually kind of merge and like make the layers underneath just be lighter. You know what I'm saying? I can't rave enough about it. Not going to anymore. Love it. Lunatic Cosmetic Labs. Okay, my number 2 favorite highlight. Oh, it's this. My NARS Soft Velvet Loose Powder in the shade Snow. I'm almost out of this. I took out the sifter because I got so far down on this. This is the matte kind of loose powder that has replaced MAC Emphasize for me. This is gonna be really weird to swatch, but it is just so soft and delicate, and the fact that it is loose is super helpful. Like, it is perfect for baking. You know what? I'm gonna add some of it right now. Like, I mean, it just like adds this perfect luminous glow without being shimmery. It is a matte highlight. When I first used this highlight, I was just like, I was blown away. I really was. I like put it on my face and I was like, the smoothness, the kind of pore minimizing qualities, the blurring effect. The great thing about this too is NARS makes this in many shades, so there's totally a powder that works for you to use as like a loose matte highlight powder. Love it, love it. I'm almost out of it, and I was debating whether to get a new. I went to the NARS store recently to get this lipstick. It's actually a NARS Velvet Matte Lip Pencil. This is in the shade Bolero, just like a beautiful bright peach. And I thought about getting another one of these, but I was like, I have some stuff in the mail that I want to try first before I do that again. But I have a feeling I'm gonna just go back to NARS and get that. Okay, so that brings us to my number one favorite highlighter. And I don't think this is going to be a surprise. They own the game. They are the game. Becca Shimmering Skin Perfectors. I have the pressed versions. The first one that I ever purchased was this Moonstone. This is just, I think, the perfect, beautiful, pale, goldy highlight for someone of my skin tone. Just absolutely stunning, shimmery, beautiful, like sparkly, but no chunky glitter. Like, it's really amazing. It really is set apart from other highlighters, even high-end ones that are like just too sparkly, too much stuff in it, you know? And then this is the Becca Jaclyn Hill Champagne Glow Trio. I love this. It comes with Pearl, Champagne Pop, and Blushed Copper. Now, these two shades, Pearl and Champagne Pop, I constantly use for a gradient highlight. Here's Pearl. I'm going to put it above Moonstone, and then I'll put Champagne Pop below Moonstone. So those are the three Becca highlights: Pearl, Moonstone, and Champagne Pop. These are just stunning. They are beautiful, natural, yet dramatic. There's nothing chunky or fallout prone with them. They're expensive, but they are worth it. I cannot rave about these enough. And for similar price points, this Becca powder I would absolutely prefer over the Hourglass Ambient Light Strobing powders. Absolutely 100% would take this over that anyway. And you know what? You get a ton of product in this. You get 8 grams, 0.28 ounces. That's plenty. Like, you don't, I know it's like $38 for this little guy, but once you have this, like, you're kind of set for a while. I don't know when I'm ever going to hit pan on this. I guess that's the whole final takeaway about highlighters is this. Yes, they're so pretty, but do you really need that many of them to get like the variety of looks that you want out of them? I don't think so. I mean, these are really the only highlighters that I use. Honestly, like, if you find something that works for your skin tone, that is universal enough to work with a lot of different kind of temperatures of makeup looks, then you kind of will just stick to that. And for me, I find that these kind of like peachy, pinky, and or pale gold highlight shades work best. And that's what I go with. Anyway, watch my anti-haul video if you want more info about that. I'm not gonna waste your time here, but this is about love and highlighters. I love them. I love them. I love them. And I gotta say, the fewer that I have, the more I love them, the more I appreciate them. Just saying. Woo! Thank you so much for watching my All About Highlighters video. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Check out my other videos. Let me know what highlights you love to wear, different like ways you like to wear them. You know, just let me know your thoughts about highlighters. I want to know all about you. I'm Kimberly Clark. Bye. Thanks for watching. Oh, blurry. Uh-oh. Autofocus. Bye.